Hello and welcome back to another video. In this video I'm going to show you guys how to fix some of the issues that have been plaguing the Mazda infotainment systems for some time. Now in front of me I have one that is bricked, meaning the thing just won't boot at all or just won't appear to be booting. This one here is stuck in update mode, where you're at the service menu where you're trying to update it and the files just don't take for whatever reason. It stops and then it starts over again and there's no way to get out of it. And this one continuously reboots. It will get to the screen where you start to see the GUI icons pop up and then it just resets itself for whatever reason. These are the major ones that I've seen. There's also one here that I think my fix will cover as well. It's when it gets into the update screen, it starts going through the update process. It looks and appears that it's going through the process. It gives you a percentage how much is completed. And then for whatever reason, it ends up stopping and then rebooting again. It never really gets past that certain stage or certain percent to complete the update. Now, when I bought my Mazda 3 2014, it was one that rebooted. The dealership, as I was going to go pick it up, the dealership called and said there's a problem with the CMU. And what really happened to me was absolutely annoying. I was coming home in the dark, in a storm, and the screen was rebooting constantly. And in that situation, I couldn't change the radio channel. The only thing that I could do was endure about an hour and a half all the way home. And in the dark, that screen just kept up flashing up. So, it put me in a position to try to go ahead and figure out, how can I fix this when I got the vehicle home? What I ended up doing, the easiest way to get these fixed that are like this, if you don't want to go down the path that I'm going to show you, is really just to go out and buy one off eBay that is working. You take this to the dealer, the dealership is going to say, sorry, you're going to have to buy a new CMU. And in my discovery, I wanted to really kind of fix mine. And so I've taken about a year, and I won't say that I spent a year learning all this, but it's taken me about a year and a half to really settle in on a solution that would work so that I could share this with you. And there's a lot of forums I went through. There's a lot of pages of information that I went through. And, I try to compile all of this into one simple and quick video. However, you are going to need to have a chip reading cable and hardware. You're going to have to put that together yourself. You can see this one, it looks sloppy, but it works. And then the other thing that is very helpful is setting up a serial cable that you can hook it up to a computer. So when these units are on, you can start to see the information that's spinning out. I'll show you that here. You're also going to need some software, of course, to write the information to a chip on the board. Again, there's a lot of information on how to do this. I want to go ahead and show you the process to fix all of these in this video. Maybe someday I'll get to showing you how to, build these things, but for right now, this is what we're going to go over. So with that said, let's get started. I've taken the screws out of the top cover. I'll remove that and set that aside. This is the chip that I'm going to be writing to. This is a Macronix chip, and it has information on the chip that is going to be needed when I load up the software. This chip here is off a 2017 CMU. I think earlier models had Spanson chips, so just be aware there are a couple chips that they've used for these CMUs. One thing to point out is there's a little indent in the corner here that indicates pin 1. And when you're setting up your cable, you have to know what pin 1 is. And of course, all the cable connections have to be accurate too, but in this case, this brown cable is my pin 1. I'm just going to clamp that to the chip like that. Now, in many cases, and especially my first time, I don't always get this 100%. You may have to go back and double check your wiring if you're building one for the first time. Sometimes this likes to pop off, and sometimes you just don't seat it right on the chip. don't be too discouraged if you don't get it right the first time. A couple other things on this programmer. It does have an LED light. If wiring wasn't done correctly, that LED light may go off. So when it's plugged in, it's not a true indicator, but it also can be an indicator that you have a problem, especially if it's already hooked up to the chip already. The program that I'm going to be using is for Windows. It's called NeoProgrammer. There's multiple programs out there that will pretty much do the exact same thing. Or you could use Raspberry Pi and Linux. I'll share some of that in the description here in a second. But anyhow, there's not a lot to configure this applications to get it running. The three icons that are most important at the top is read, write, and erase. When I get CMUs in for repair, I usually pull off the information out of the chip, save it, and I believe this is where I got the binary file that I'm going to be sharing with everyone here. I did not modify the binary file. I just happened to come across it. I believe that it should work for all of the issues that I mentioned earlier in the video. Now, for writing, you want to make sure you have erase, blank check, write, and verified. All of those turned on. And then you want to click detect. If everything is set up correctly, you'll see a box like this. It doesn't directly tell you which version that you have. However, it will detect that it is a Macronix, and obviously there's multiple versions of this. This is where on the chip you'll find the information specifically about the chip. I know it's a 6445E. Again, it's a Macronix. I also know that JCI had used Spanson chips as well in the earlier models. So you might see Macronix or Spanson in your CMU. Go ahead and select. And then I'm going to open up. This is the binary file. It came from a 5900504A. I'm calling it the Holy Grail. The reason I'm calling it the Holy Grail is because it does not need to have a user ID and password set. And also the watchdog is turned off. And I'll show you guys that here once booted up. Now, there are two addresses I'd like to look at. The first one here is, it's set up right now as zeroed out. This indicates that the CMU will boot into Failsafe / update mode. And so we want that to take place because what we're going to end up doing is updating it with 70.00.100. I could reset this to go back into the regular boot process, but I'm not going to do it here. And the binary will have this already set if you download it. The other address is this one. And this one's important to me, and it's not exactly at this address. It's the information above. When I'm looking at a broken CMU, I want to know what operating system it has in there, what version, and this one has 5900.504A. And then also down here at the bottom, this is what the system is expecting as, what the last attempt was to install as an update, or also what was used as an update. So it is looking for 70.00.100. And so we're going to be providing that here in the update process. So this is all set up and ready to go. I'll go up and click write. All right, we'll let this finish out. It probably has a couple more minutes. Okay, so as you can see, it did successfully complete. This process I'll be doing for every single one of those broken CMUs. So I'm not going to be changing anything. I don't have to modify anything else. Again, this should work for all three. I'm going to be using PuTTY to communicate with the CMU via serial cable. And as you can see, I started that up here. Go ahead and turn on the CMU, and I do have the serial cable already connected. You can see on the screen that it's starting up, and now it's just waiting for me to put it in the USB stick with the 70 version on it. But I'm going to show you that I can freely look at any of these directories. I can create a directory, I can remove a directory. This has 70 on it. Go ahead and plug that in. And as you can see, it's already starting the update process. So this will take about 20 minutes to complete. This is a normal process. I haven't modified anything with this update. The other thing that I will talk about, I believe this will work for other regions as well. Now, I will have the binary file. I'll have at least some links to the 70 version, or if you do live in another region and you want to update to your region, which would make sense because what I'm sharing here is for North America, you would just have to go and install 70, and then from 70 you could install 74 with your specific region. I will try to get to showcase this further down in the video. We'll go ahead and let this run out, and we'll come back when it's finished up. All right, as you can see, this has completed. Go ahead and cycle the power. And you notice that the failsafe is still at 59 and the OS version is at 70. This will be fixed when I install 74. And I'm not going to start this one. I'm going to see if I could use a different region and install that. So if you're in North America, you can continue on from here. So I'm going to try to install a European version on the CMU. So this does not show up as an EU version, but I know this file is. Now I have set up CMUs for Europe as well, and I've helped others with installing their version for their region. I'm not expecting to have any issues here when I do that. So we'll let this run for a little bit and see how far it gets. Now this has been updated to the EU version 70.00.367. Let's see if we can update to 74 for North America. All right, that update process is going on, loading 74. I'll go back into the settings and then verify that this has taken place and the update was successful here after it's completed. And there you go. It has both the failsafe and the OS version updated in North America. So I've just proved that you can update from the binary file all the way through to really whatever region version that you want. The only thing that you can't do is go backwards. All right, let's finish this out. I was able to complete and fix 2 of those CMUs. This one here that I had marked as rebooting, unfortunately what I found out, it was actually bad memory. This is the first time that I've come across this. When I was trying to get this to update, it wasn't updating. It was acting kind of weird. And I was able to get it out of rebooting, but I wasn't able to put on 74. It kept failing in the update for 74, and unfortunately, I ended up having to verify the memory, and then that's where, when I ran the process, it ended up telling me that there was memory problems. So with that, this one's bad. This is a bad unit. And like I said, the first time that I've come across it. For this binary that I'm calling the Holy Grail, I think it has a lot of flexibility more than just fixing the CMUs. Hopefully, it makes it easier for people to fix their CMU. And then also, it gives some flexibility for those that want to investigate, troubleshoot, update, make some modifications as well. It appears that the developer that was creating the all-in-one hacks isn't doing that anymore, but there's still ongoing efforts out there to make these CMUs perform better. So if the information in this video helped you out, go ahead and give me a like. Better yet, subscribe and you get the latest notifications when new videos come out. If you have any questions or comments about this video, leave them in the comment section below. And also take a look at the description too. I'll have more information out there with links and further details on how to get this binary file. All right, you guys have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video.